I'm here with Lilah Richcreek Estrada from the new series A Man on the Inside, and I'm not sure if I should call you Lilah, Emily, uh, Froggy, Julie. I mean,
I
Froggy
answer
is
to
your
all of the
unofficial
above.
nickname.
Listen. Oh, I have friends texting me being like, I'm about to change your name in my phone to Froggy. And I'm like, do it. Listen, I'll respond. I'll respond forever. Are you kidding me?
This is such a sweet series for you. Was there something about Julie or the series itself that drew you to be a part of it?
Um, I mean, listen, first of all, I'm a fan of Mike's shows previously. And so when you see Mike Schur and Ted Danson leading a show, it's like, go on. Um, And I love Julie. Like I love that type of comedy so much. I love, being direct and like the straight person and being amongst the chaos and needing to like keep it grounded while still funny. I feel like it's a tough line to walk. So I really love that challenge. And I just love that type of comedy to begin with. So like all of the signs were like, oh, good God, please let me be a part of this show. I love it so much. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. All of those things, drew me to it for sure.
What kind of backstory then were you given on Julie?
Um, not not a big one. Mike and I chatted a little bit about it. But not a big one. So for me, and then, if we get more seasons, we'll hopefully explore more of that and get to see it like publicly. But for me, I created reasons as to why she is the way she is, just personally. So I wasn't just, like playing an idea of a person. I was playing a real person with real reasons as to why she is the way she is. Yeah, so just a little bit of chatting with Mike and then my own, just choices on it, and we'll see if it aligns like in the future, if that's her actual backstory, if it's just my own personal thing that I get to keep for myself.
I love how good though Julie is and patient with Charles. Um, and they have this sweet moment of, understanding of dementia and things like that. It's just a sweet way to connect the two of them, especially in this particular case. That's a standout scene for me of when the two of you just, initially start to connect as human beings, not just coworkers at that point. Um, but I have to ask about working with Ted in those moments. It must be just amazing for you.
Yeah, I mean, Ted is truly, he's a wonderful, delightful, charming, warm, lovely person. Outside of acting, just the person that he is, I adored, being around. And then as an actor, he's so funny, obviously, and he's so good at playing this character, and he's very deep and wants to get like the truest moment out of every scene. And sometimes that is, you know, silly, goofy comedy, but sometimes it is, the depth and the grief that he's experiencing from losing his wife, and it's been a year, so what does that look like? And he just wants, yeah, he wants everything to be true and deep, and I think that's why it resonates so much. I think the show as a whole really hits on that. It's not just funny; it is very human too. Which I think, like, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want like a cathartic human experience wrapped up in like a delightful, loving show?
And Charles really seems to be wanting to do this job the best he can for you. It's so funny. The notes he puts in the recorder, like, I think it's Jan's dead.
Yeah,
He really seems
it's
to
so good.
authentically be trying to help you the best he can.
He's doing his best. He's doing his best. And what can Julie expect from hiring an amateur to do this job? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of where her patience comes from is that like, yes, I need to get this done. This is a job. I'm being paid to do this. And also you're an amateur and have never done this before. And let's see, I'm taking a big swing here and let's see if it works out. So yeah, I think that dynamic is just it's super funny and just super, I don't know, comedy can't help but ensue in that circumstance.
I was gonna say she is really patient with him. But also, she keeps him focused there on the mission of what he's there to be doing. It's not like happy hour, wakes up with pizza attached to his,
Yeah.
which I mean, there have to be moments where you can't keep a straight face while you guys are shooting. Were
Oh,
there
sure.
what were some of those moments that were more difficult for you?
Oh, the pizza moment for sure. Like that's because I also didn't see it until like right before we started shooting. Like he had his back to me kind of and then got set up on the bed and so I didn't really know what the reveal was going to be. So it's also like wardrobe and props all were involved with that as well. Yeah, that's a moment. Some of the moments in my office just because we would shoot a lot of the stuff in my office all day. And yeah, just those I loved a lot of those moments, like the sequence when I'm interviewing applicants and then finally land on TED. Like that day was so much fun. And yeah, there were a lot of moments that it was tough to keep a straight face for sure.
I mean, those were moments I was like, Mom, my mom, my mom.
Yeah, I know that the technology and the cell phone thing is so funny and so well written to me. Where he's at just in the calculator adding stuff is still makes that was one of the scenes for the audition, and my husband was reading it with me, and we couldn't even get through that scene like without cracking up. Yeah, so funny.
I mean, Mike sounds like he was very hands-on when you guys are filming all of these episodes. Did he give you, though, much room to improv in moments where you felt comfortable?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stuff that was written was already so good. So we always got it as written, always got takes as written. Because why wouldn't you want to get that? And then, yeah, sometimes just moments of inspiration would come and a little button would be added or a line would be slightly changed. And it just kind of happened for that one take and we got it on camera and he loved it. And, then it would be different next time. So there was always the freedom to like let inspiration come to you. Don't like force something because it's already so good, but let whatever takes over if it takes over. And yeah, and some of that stuff made it in, which is pretty cool.
What's the scene that you're most proud of the work that you put into, or maybe one that you really love how it came from page to screen?
Oh, that's a good question. I do really love the scene with Charles on the bridge when we connect about Alzheimer's. Um, I think it's just a beautiful, deep scene. But I also love a lot of the stuff that I got to do with Stephanie in episode 7, where we are kind of like on to each other about things. She's on to me and I'm on to her about being on to me, and just this like cat and mouse kind of like two alpha, strong, intuitive women circling each other. When I read that, I was like, oh, this is going to be so good. And she's so good. And I just think I love how that episode came together in general. And I also love the scene with Stephanie, me, and Ted at the end. I think it's I can't remember. Yeah, it's episode 8, where we're in the cafe and we try to convince her to come back to Pacific View. I loved how that one turned out as well. And that was just a really fun day shooting too. So I just have good memories associated with it.
This show is very special. There's heart, there's humor, there's a little bit of everything, and of course, intrigue for everyone because you don't know
Yeah.
who is stealing at this place. Um, What kind of fan feedback have you already been receiving to the series?
Oh my gosh, people love it, which is so cool. And it got released, in Europe beforehand because I woke up to an insane amount of like DMs from, people over there. And are saying, like, I just watched the entire thing in one sitting and can't wait for a season two. And just so funny. And they also didn't expect to get emotional at the end. And I have I have my friends who watched it last night being like, wait, what? I'm sobbing. And I'm at the end and I'm like sobbing and crying. What is this? What is this witchcraft? Um, so people are really loving it, which is it's really cool. We had such a great time shooting it. And you hope that all those feelings that you have about it and for it and associated with it, that other people get to see it and like feel the same. And it seems like people are, which is just really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it resonates with so many people who have parents that age. And also, the humor is very, it reminds me a little bit of Only Murders in the Building. And
Hmm.
I think it's just a great premise altogether. And of course, Mike brings the humor to everything he does in such a perfect way. Um, if there is such a thing as perfect comedy, I think he's pretty close to it.
Yeah, he's very smart. His writing is very smart. I mean, he as a person is hyper intelligent, but yeah, he does a very good job. That's why I was a fan. I was a fan ahead of time.
All right, are you ready for a season two? We hear some good
Oh,
news.
let's do it. I'm ready. Sign me up.
What are the other projects that you've been busy working on before we hear about season two?
Yeah, right, right. I've been recurring on Chicago Med, which is also it's such a completely different show. I play a psychiatrist. So I'm dealing with very heavy things every episode in that. Um, but yeah, that's something that I started doing 3 seasons ago back in 2022. And I love that show as well. I love everyone involved. Everyone's so talented, and the cast and crew and the whole Dick Wolf universe are just they're lovely, and they really it's a lot like, Mike sure really looks out for his people, and so does Dick Wolf, which is really cool. I'm very lucky that I get to be a part of like both universes.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you continue to do on our screens?
I just would like to say thank you for watching and for being a fan and for being supportive. And I hope that the projects that I'm involved in move you in some way, whether it's cathartic or joyful. And I hope to continue to keep doing that. I mean, that's why we do it, to move people and to give them a special experience, whatever it is, regardless of what it is, every time they watch. So thank you.
Well, you do it so well with A Man on the Inside, and it's only been out for a day, so I'm sure this weekend you're going to be getting an influx of people telling you how touched they are, how impressed they are, and how they couldn't stop laughing at those special moments as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's hope. Let's hope.